What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and we're seeing more and more escalation here from Russia, China, and North Korea. Take a look. You can see here North Korea just fired an ICBM missile, issues new warnings to the US. The White House condemns the launch, that says that this exact missile posed no immediate threat to the US. It was a warning missile. Japan says the missile landed in its exclusive economic zone. North Korea confirmed it fired an intercontinental ballistic missile yesterday and issued new warnings to the US. That's right. After parading a record number of rockets through the streets here, and I mentioned this here on a previous video. I'll link you to that video here at the end of this video, designed to deliver a nuclear warhead to the American mainland. That's right. Yeah, and if you didn't watch my video here of that a few days ago, of what North Korea just did here just a few days ago, that's pretty scary with their nuclear missiles and what they're basically kind of threatening the United States with. Yeah. So I'll let you watch that here at the end of this video. You guys can let me know your thoughts here in the comments section. But nonetheless, this high angle launch of this Hwasong 15 was conducted by North Korea on Saturday, with the missile reaching a maximum altitude of 5,768 kilometers and flying for almost 1,000 kilometers, the official Korean Central News Agency said on Sunday. It said that the surprise drill is a guarantee for and a clear proof of the sure reliability of our powerful physical nuclear deterrent. And the US government denounces North Korea after its government fired a long-range missile into the Sea of Japan, saying, quote, "This launch is a flagrant violation of multiple United Nations Security Council resolutions. This launch needlessly raises tensions and risks, destabilizing the security situation in the region. It only demonstrates that the DPRK continues to prioritize its unlawful weapons of mass destruction and ballistic missile programs over the well-being of its people. The North Korean missile test comes a day after the country threatened to respond to the announcement of a joint US and South Korean military exercises. Yeah, so this is why North Korea doesn't like it. And the United States is basically just doing military exercises to, I guess, tell North Korea to stay away. The missile landed about 200 kilometers west of the Oshima Island in the Sea of Japan within Japan's exclusive economic zone. Japanese officials say there was no damage from the missile this time. Japanese Prime Minister called the launch an act of violence that escalates provocation towards the international order. And this missile launch is the second of the year already this year from North Korea. The country launched over 70 ballistic missiles last year, including some with the potential to reach the US mainland. North Korea's statement on Friday accused the US and South Korea of raising tensions after they announced 20 joint military drills this year, calling the US the, quote, arch criminals deliberately disrupting regional peace and stability. And with the 1 year anniversary of the Ukraine invasion from Russia and Russian President Vladimir Putin only a few days away on February 24th, I believe it is, what we will see happening here, well, we'll see here as Russia's invading on their second wave, maybe we'll call it here, with a new 300 to 500,000 troops. Yeah, that's a day after my birthday, which is February 23rd. Not really a good correlation there. But it doesn't look like the war is going to be ending anytime soon, as this new wave of troops coming in, and Ukraine President Zelensky and his former official says we'll never give up to Putin ahead of the war anniversary. We'll never give up to Putin. His former press secretary vowed on Saturday that they will, quote, never give up to Russian President Vladimir Putin as the 1 year anniversary approaches here in a few days. Here is what the Ukrainian press secretary to Zelensky has to say here. Take a listen.
The fight for our lives, my time with Zelensky, Ukraine's battle for democracy, and what it means for the world. Yulia, thank you for being here.
Ali, thank you for coming here.
It's important for us to mark this, and I think something that the Admiral just said is very important, that there are two clocks running. One is for Vladimir Putin. He's running out of troops, he's running out of ammunition, he's running out of weapons. But you in Ukraine are very worried that the West may run out of patience and resolve. Tell me how you manage that here, because nobody in Ukraine seems to be running out of resolve.
Well, Ali, let me say, first of all, we understand that we'll never give up to Putin, but we definitely have this concern that, there is the threat about fatigue in the West, or maybe there will be the lack of unity, or that we will not get enough ammunition or enough weapons. Thousands and thousands of our people are fighting, and many of them just became soldiers a year ago, but they are determined. They know that they can win. They know they must defend Ukrainian civilians, the sky, whatever they can defend, their land and home, But if there is no unity in the civilized world, in the West, in the United States, then there is always a risk that we will not be able to stand against this unpredictable and aggressive autocracy alone.
We are, Friday marks 1 year of the war, so we're a few days before that. At this point 1 year ago, the prediction was we knew Russia would invade. They had troops on the Russian border, on the Belarus border, and the world thought this would be over in a matter of days or weeks. Why is this war not over?
Well, because Ukraine in a year is strong, independent, sovereign country, and we show to the whole world we are not victims. Maybe we are targets for Russians, but we are fighters, and we are not going to give up. We are going to return our people, to return our lands, to stand against Russia as much as possible. And we definitely know that we were very underestimated, and Russia was very overestimated. Perhaps Russian propaganda that has been in power for dozens of years tried to create this image of strong Putin, strong Russia, but in fact, they're so corrupt, they are not determined, they are not motivated. What are they for here? Just to kill, to loot, to die? So definitely we will stand to the very end. We have what to fight for. This is, everything that we share together, freedom, democracy, the values that the West stands for. And we are really glad, that the world understands this.
Do you think that message is resonating? When Vladimir Zelensky was at Congress, he was making those connections between your fight for democracy and America's fight for democracy and the whole West's fight for democracy. Is that the part that's resonating for the world, that this is actually a democratic country that has been invaded by a non-democratic country that wants to overtake them?
I think every American understands that the freedom is a fundamental value for building the society. And that's exactly here in Ukraine. And it's very impressive for the reason that Ukraine is the only territory of such freedom and democracy in all post-Soviet space near Russia. So we are here giving hope to so many countries near Russia, like Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Armenia, all those people who for dozens of years were looking at Russia, dealing with the decisions. Every decision could cause aggression from Russia, threat from Russia, blackmail from Russia. And now they see Ukraine. They understand that Russia can be defeated. This is a huge hope for the democracy in this part of the world. So I think Americans understand what democracy and freedom and what every Ukrainian feels here better than anyone else.
Yeah, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for being with us here.
And we will continue to cover the story with you.
Now, also, there's been some attacks for what Vladimir Putin, Russian president, would consider possibly, or what he would consider a red line, what he would call crossing a red line. And I'll talk about the irony of this here in a second. You could see here Ukrainian drones were downed over Sevastopol, according to the governor of the city in Crimea, which was basically taken from Ukraine here in 2014. It comes following a report that the United States considers the peninsula Moscow annexed in 2014 a red line for Russian President Vladimir Putin. The internationally non recognized governor of the port city posted on his Telegram channel that two UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles, were shot down over the sea, that our defense forces continue to repel the attack. Last month, Ukrainian President Zelensky reiterated his pledge to regain the Russian controlled peninsula, telling the World Economic Forum in Davos that it was our land, our territory, before Putin just basically took it back in 2014, and the world basically let him take it. And Crimea wasn't able to defend themselves against Russia because they were too small of a country. And now the world is scared that they might do that to Moldova here as well, a country of only about 2.5 million people. And Moldova is actually warning the world that Russia may try to take that over Moldova here, as the Moldova government is kind of in midst of a little bit of a collapse, and they think part of it is because Russia has kind of got their spies in the door there and causing some chaos there. And we'll see what happens here. But Russia's known for doing stuff like that, and that's how they took over Crimea, because they just couldn't defend themselves. Well, Ukraine could defend themselves because they were a country of 45 million people, maybe more like 40 now, because several million people, mostly women and children, fled the country. But they stood up for themselves. They defended themselves largely with a lot of help from the United States and Europe, European Union, helping them defend themselves. But Putin wasn't able to just take it. And here we are a year later, and Putin's now going to send a second massive wave of 300 to 500,000 troops. But if the United States and the European Union, if their support for Ukraine wanes, what might happen down the road? Would Putin be able to take Ukraine? Now, I don't know if they'd be able to hold it long term, because 40 million people probably just wouldn't let him hold it. But the problem is that Putin's got 6,000 nukes. That's kind of the main problem here. And the other problem is that what's the situation with the United States and China and Russia and North Korea as well? So you guys can let me know your thoughts here on all of this, and I will keep you up to date here. So as always, if you appreciate these videos, don't forget to give us a like and share these videos with anybody that needs to hear this information. And if you're new here, if you haven't yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below and then the bell icon so you don't miss out on new videos that come out here on our YouTube channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here's some videos you can watch next. Here's a really good video of what Russia just did to the United States, and we had to send our Air Force out. Really good video there. You can click on that video next. And here's that other video about what North Korea just did. I told you about that earlier, so you can click on that video here as well. Click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.